Yes, hello everyone. Welcome to NFTV. Second take as the mic was muted. I'm not in my normal circumstances. I'm not at mine, hence the reason why it's a little bit makeshift. But thank you very much for all of your company tonight. We are talking England of all teams. Yes, I've got the England U96 shirt on. You can see the World Cup 98 behind us. Welcome everybody to the latest video here on NFTV. If you can smash that like button, that would be absolutely wonderful. Last month, because we're now in June, believe it or not, YouTube members got 16 exclusive videos, predominantly from me, Sam, Johnny, and we had Carl chip in with one or two, and so did Brandon. But yeah, keep your comments coming. I'll be interacting with you with the England squad, how far we can go. Can we go as far as Southgate took us to the semi-finals? I actually personally think the Euros is harder to win than the actual final before the change of the tournament selection. I just used to like it. Top two go through. You're in the last 8, last 4 winner. That's the way I like it. But let's crack on with it. Let's get straight to it. Let's get to the England squad, which Gareth Southgate announced. We're going to go through a timeline, which you can see here. So we'll go through that shortly. But I just want to talk to you about the England squad and my thoughts on it. And I'm sure you're going to let us know in the comments as well. So please do. Jody Sankers, I take the mickey that I didn't have my mic on round 1. Evening, Jody. I hope you're good as well. But there you go. There's the England lineup. What do you think? First initial thoughts. Let's try and pick at the squad. So start with the goalkeepers. For me personally, I didn't think that we're strong in terms of goalkeepers. Pickford's got the number 1. He's going to start in goal. I think because he's got tournament experience, that's why he's playing. I'm meeting the lads tomorrow, and we're going to be picking our England squad. It'll be interesting to see if it's similar to Southgate or it's totally different. But Pickford will go into the tournament as number 1. I don't think we're strong in goalkeeping depth. Henderson, who's got into the Man United side in the second half of the season, couple of mistakes, but I just don't think we're blessed in goalkeeping sense because Johnson's got in, who was in the side that got relegated. Yes, I know Sam Johnson, made the most saves in the whole of the season, but he's got in there. I am happy, though, that Ramsdale didn't make it, mind you, because I just don't rate our Ramsdale. But with the injury to Nick Pope, it's a sad one, because if Nick Pope was fit, I think he could have really, really pushed Jordan Pickford into deciding who would become number 1 going into the tournament as well. Pope is a big miss, says Adrian there. Ollie's went on to say, I reckon we'll go out in the quarters. All good, having a good team spirit. But the second we'll come up against a half-decent side, Southgate's tactical ineptitude will be exposed. And Thomas says, back again. I am indeed after the first run. It wasn't successful. Right, so the goalkeepers, then the defence. I think this is also one of England's weakest positions so far. Southgate said today that Maguire is going to miss the opening game of the season. So you would probably think it'll be Stones. There you go. He just came on screen. I reckon Cody and probably Kyle Walker is the third choice centre-back if Southgate goes with 3 at the back. Now, England have got 2 friendlies coming up in the next 5-6 days, both at Middlesbrough. I think England's tomorrow, but interesting, the lads that he left out, they're still going to be playing, which I found a little bit bizarre. But I think we're weak. I think John Stones has had a fantastic season at Manchester City. Maguire, he's all right, he's bullish. Jones and Maguire are the best of a bad bunch, I personally feel. I don't know how Tyrone Mings has got in this England squad. I don't know how he's made it. Me personally, there's many times that I've seen a lot of Villa games. Errors, man. Positional. Nah, not for me. Tyrone Mings is not England quality for me. Not for me. Nah. So I think we are a little bit weak there. I think left back and right back, we're perfectly fine. I think that's where we've got 2 massive green ticks. I say 2 because we've got 3. No, we've got 4 right backs in this England side. But Chilwell and Luke Shaw, I'm happy with that. I think they've had 2 outstanding seasons. And I think England are very strong. So if he goes Shaw and then he changes it and goes Chilwell the next game, I'm fine with that. No problems. The right back's an interesting one because it was all talked about in the media Who was he going to take? Who was the man that was going to be cut? And he hasn't cut nobody. He's took all 4 right backs. For me personally, I think the best right back is Trent Alexander-Arnold for what he can do going forward. There's going to be times where England are going to have to break down a team in the knockout stages in particular. For me, I would have Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's my first pick. And you've got a set-piece taker. People are saying because Ward-Prowse didn't make it, we've lost a set-piece taker. I slightly disagree because if you've got Trent Alexander-Arnold in there, you're laughing. So there you go. I think Kieran Trippier has had an outstanding season at Atletico Madrid. But what's helped him get in this side is he's versatile. He can go on the left side. That's the same with Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker, for me, I don't think is being taken to this tournament as a right back. I think he's been taken as a right-sided centre-back in a back 3. That's why he's going. That's why Reece James makes it. Reece James, for me, is the best potential out of all of them because he's still... I say all of them. I say that because Trent Alexander-Arnold still has a lot of potential, but Reece James is probably, for me, the weakest out of those 4 right-backs. But that's not a problem. He's still a hell of a player. Very young, strong. However, he wouldn't be my first or second choice. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is probably a little bit disheartened, probably not even get a mention because he is phenomenal one-on-one. Let's see what he's saying actually in the comments. Ben Mee is better than Mings. Yeah, there's a shout for Consa who's had a better season. There you go. Mason's just said that there. He's had a better season than Mings, his teammate. And because Mings has got England experience, he gets in there. Ollie goes on to say that Trent's a perfect wing-back. Totally agree on that. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Geordie agrees with me there. Dunk or White over Mings. Lewis Dunk, yeah, another one. White, who's been dropped over Mings. For me, I just don't rate Tyrone Mings. I cannot see it. I just don't get it. I worry if we've got an injury and he gets picked in that first game with Maguire being missing. I'm worried about that. I'm worried as an England fan that he's going to fuck up because he's got a clanger in him. He proper has got a clanger in him. Instead of having Reece James or Kieran Trippier, he could have chosen Lingard or Wilson, etc. While we're all suddenly fine with the fact that we're about to play 5 at the back and ruin any chance of progressing. I think just Southgate, the way he plays, he will play 3 at the back, I would imagine. I'll be quite surprised. It'll be interesting to see what team he puts out the Morrow, because it's a good indication of who's he looking at. The holding midfield roles, you're looking at Jordan Henderson there. He is there, just makes it because of experience. If you're going on form, Henderson does make it because he's been injured a large chunk of the season. Calvin Phillips will also be there with him. And you've also got Declan Rice. So you've got 2 out of those 3 will start in the holding midfield. Jude Bellingham, you've just seen him at the end of the picture there. Fantastic that he's gone. But England, it's another area for me that we're not great at. I think we're all right. Don't get me wrong, I think we're okay. But if there's an injury and you're looking at, say, if you take Henderson out and Jordan Henderson can't make it, then you're struggling a little bit for me. I'm not comfortable with Phillips and Rice in the last 8 or the semi-finals if that happens. But it's all right. There's other areas across the pitch that for me are that, as I mentioned, the goalkeepers and the centre backs are the weak problems. But just switch it to Bukayo Saka. Got to get this in. He's a Toon fan when he was growing up because of his dad. Always say that. I love saying that. He's going to appear on your screen. There he is. Now, he's versatile. I think that's why he's got in this England side, because he can fill in at left back. He can fill in at left attacking, right attacking, probably as a number 10 as well. I think that's why Saka's going. Will you see him get much game time? Probably not, but he's there as an option. You know that it's going to be Harry Kane up top. We all know that. England will play 1 up top. It'll be him. I've got no problems with Dominic Calvert-Lewin being your second choice. If Kane was tired or he's got an injury or you need to go 2 up top, I'm fine with Calvert-Lewin. I think he's done justice. The last 18 months, he's been sensational, and I think he fully deserves an England side. And then you look, okay, who else can you play up top? Obviously, no Danny Ings, of course. You probably, if you are pushing it, Marcus Rashford would step in as your striker. I think he will start most England games on the left side, and I'd probably say Sterling on the right-hand side. That's probably where I would go. For me, I would start Phil Foden in the 10. I would just do it. I think he's had a sensational season. There he is there. Play him. Kid's got talent galore. Yes, I know, bad way ending the Champions League and what have you, but for me, start him. Then you probably say, well, wait a minute, what do you do with Mason Mount? If it's Foden or Mount, I'm picking Phil Foden first. Mount had a great season, but I'm going with Phil Foden first. If Mount is playing further up the pitch. But then you've got Jadon Sancho, who could do stuff off the bench. I think that's a great substitute to have. So we've got squad depth going forward. But as I say, for England, problems are the goalkeepers, the centre-backs, and the holding midfield for me. Let's see what you lot are saying. And then what we'll do is we'll switch to the timeline of what's been said today. Ooh, where have I missed out for? Southgate will play 5 at the back of field. Trent Alexander-Arnold, right wing back, says Kelsey, with Walker next to him. Yeah, because if Walker can just come across the pitch and cover if needs be, and even if we need a goal, Walker's quite comfortable playing on that right, isn't he? Joe Litton had Mings on toast. There you go. Joe Litton, remember that? It was a joke, wasn't it? Absolute joke. Ollie's obviously replying to somebody else there. He'll probably go for 5 at the back and then go Henderson and Rice in front of them. I think he will. I think that's the 2 that will start for England in the Euros. Ridiculous, though, with the amount of talent that we have. I would agree, but I think that's what he will go with. Wish we could have taken a different manager, to be honest, as well. Only Belgium and France are stronger than this England side, says Adrian. For me, France are the favourites. Put in the comments how far you reckon England will go. Put it in the comments where we're going to get to. We're going to get out the group stage because it's very difficult not to get out now because the 2 best third place go through. Is it the quarters? Is it the last 16? Is it the semis? Where we're going to go? Let us know. Geordie goes on to say the spine of the team could be a problem with injuries. Henderson, Maguire, Kane all had injuries and it could cost us. I think Harry Kane will play regardless if he's not even fully fit. I think because he's world class and we don't have many England players who you could say he's world class. He's world class. Harry Kane, you can definitely say he's world class. And his future, whatever happens this summer, for me, if he stays in the Premier League, he's got a good shout of beating Shearer's record. But if he goes abroad, I think he can do it abroad as well. I think he's class. Heard Rashford can't even wear trainers at the minute because his ankles are that knackered, says Ollie. We'll see tomorrow with the friendly. Goalkeepers are fine. See, I disagree with that. I hate when not Pickford has been fine for England. He has, but I wouldn't put it past it like a mistake in him. I'm just not convinced. Geordie says Foden 10, Sterling and Sancho wingers, Kane is striker. I mean, that's brilliant. Mason said semis. Adrian's gone to say quarters. Kelsey, realistically, the semis. Remember, England play a lot of their games at home as well. There's a lot played at Wembley. Last 16, semis. And he was like a centre-back. Bruce, hence defensive-minded. England in the final. England in the final, says Geordie. Are you off your trolley? Quarterfinals. Andrew's in the comments as well, one of our members too. England don't get past second round, possibly the group stage next to them. Geordie goes on to say win the group, and then we'll play France, Germany, Portugal in the round 16, so it's going to be tough. Harvey Barnes should be in. That's a good outside bet, isn't it? Right. So we've looked at the England squad. What we'll do now is we'll have a look at the timelines. And Southgate's gone on to say about the players who aren't part of his plans, but strangely, they're still going to be involved in the next 2 friendlies, which is bizarre. For me, I'll just send them home. There's no point in them hanging about. He's gone on to say, well, we never want to give bad news. It's lovely to give people debuts and bring them into the squad for the first time, but it's much harder to deliver difficult news. With the lads this time, there were 3 who knew that we were coming in with experience of training with us and for these 2 matches, and we're really pleased with Ben White, Ben Godfrey, and Aaron Ramsdale. They've added a lot to the group. For me personally, it's been very difficult to speak to Jesse Lingard, who was given so much for England over a period of time. James Ward-Prowse, who was captain of the under-21s, and Ollie Watkins, who's had a tremendous season with Villa. Those 3, I gave them the option of going home, but they were all adamant they wanted to stay and be part of the group. I think Jesse will probably start tomorrow. Watch Jesse Lingard go and get a hat-trick now. Their commitment and professionalism has been exemplary, and it's meant yesterday afternoon when I had the conversation with these players that although they were disappointed, they knew where they stood, and the atmosphere around the camp has stayed positive. So over on this left-hand side, you've got a little bit of information on who's been left out. Quickly rattle through them. I think, judging what Southgate has just said there, I think Jesse Lingard would have been probably your 27th man. That, judging what I said, difficult to speak to. For me, Lingard was Lingard was linked to Newcastle, right? And I said, and a couple of other lads on NFTV said, I'm not having Lingard. And I was one of them. Didn't want Lingard. Nah. Is he any better than Miguel Miron? Nah. God, he's made us eat all of our words. He's been absolutely fucking brilliant, sensational, Jesse Lingard. He's probably the one out of those lists that probably feels a lot hard done by, because there's a couple of players in that England side, for me, Saka and Bellingham, really, if they have a better second half of the season than Lingard, no. I wouldn't be against putting Jesse Lingard in that 26-man squad for a little bit more going forward. People might say, okay, but you've got Sancho, might be too similar. So what? So what? James Ward-Prowse, again, very good at free kicks, set pieces, playmaker. I'm going to be honest, I'm not that bothered. I'm not bothered about James Ward-Prowse being out. Not really bothered about Ollie Watkins, because you could have said, oh, well, if Callum Wilson was fit, or Patrick Bamford. I mean, Patrick Bamford wasn't even looked at. I mean, he scored goals for fun in this, and he's totally different player, because he was shit. He couldn't even score a goal, man. He would struggle to get 10 in the Championship. And because of Bielsa's mindset, high pressing, working hard, grafting, scoring goals, he's become one of their star players. So he's another one. Ben White, people say, okay, Lewis Dunk should have went. And then Godfrey, yes, he's had a good season at Everton. I'll tell you what, though, I'm pleased Michael Keane hasn't made it. Fuck me. Please, he hasn't made it. But Ben Godfrey, yeah, it's probably next tournament of probably some of these players. But we know that Greenwood is out the squad with injury. We knew that before Southgate named the team at 5 p.m. tonight. But England, of course, will play friendlies against Austria tomorrow and Romania on Sunday, both down the Smoggies, 35 mile away down in Middlesbrough. That'll give you a good indication. I still don't get why, to be honest with you, why the players are hanging about as well. Sterling has gone on. You'll probably see a lot of these when I'm scrolling up. Sterling's went on to say, I can't wait to get going with England. He has a picture of the Wembley Stadium. We're looking forward to seeing the fans, of course. Obviously, the fans are going to be at Middlesbrough, and of course, the Euros as well. The big news, of course, just away from England today is Ancelotti's gone back to Real Madrid. That doesn't surprise me, to be honest. World-class manager. Everton will be absolutely gutted that they've lost him. Euros, Calvert-Lewin's went on a post as well. You'll see quite a few of them. Southgate's gone out and say that we can beat anyone on our day. That's on our day. That's not consistent, though. That's a problem. He says we can't look any further than the group stage at the minute. We'll play World Cup finalists Croatia in our first game. We have a derby with Scotland. That Scotland game is going to be mint. Absolutely brilliant for them, brilliant for us. It's going to be like a time we are derby for Toon fans who like England. That's the nearest thing I can probably put it to. Then we've got the Czech Republic. Brandon's obviously cheering them on this summer as well. One of the best teams in Europe. I don't agree with that, Southgate. I don't think Czech Republic are. Our focus is on Croatia in a couple of weeks' time, and then everything builds from there. But there are 8 to 10 teams who could win the tournament. We've proved that we can beat anyone on our day, and we have to show that consistently in the tournament. I think it's really important for England not to get beat in the opener, because you don't want to go into the Scotland game against your local rivals needing a result. That's the worry. Harry Maguire's gone and say last time he was at the Euros, he was there as a fan. This time he's a player. It's a huge honour. He will miss the first game, as I've said already. Gareth Southgate went on to say he's picked the 4 right backs because they are in the 26 best players. If you had to pick a 5th or 6th, he probably would. I don't believe him, to be honest with you, on that one. Kieran Trippier is delighted that he's made it. Very special moment to be in the squad. He's delighted. I know there's competition for the right back position. He goes on to say just about playing well for my club, and I feel like I've done that for this season. So yeah, another one, Trent Alexander-Arnold. His tweet's a bit fuck you kind of tweet, isn't it? Always believe in yourself, silence the doubters. I've made the England squad. Fuck you, kind of motto, isn't he? Good on him, because I think he's really, really talented, and I'm delighted to see. And there's your full squad. If you squint your eyes on that, or I'll just switch it to that one. That's easier for you. So that's the England squad. Like I say, we're going to pick our England side because we're all meeting up tomorrow. Me, Johnny, Adam, Liam. I think the new lads are coming along as well, so we've got loads of videos coming up. But what I'm going to do is just read some of your stuff out. Will be riots if we lose to Scotland. Ollie goes on to say, could see us losing to Croatia, then drawing against the Scots. Then pressure will be on the Czech Republic game. We could actually go out. We need to be careful. I think the Croatia game, the opening game, you've got to start well. And Andrew Bell's gone and says, Southgate actually said Czech Republic were one of the best improved teams in Europe. The article had that cut out. Ooh, so someone selling porky pies. Thank you very much, Andrew, for that. Ooh, what have I just seen about Holland? I've just seen something about Holland. Tom, Southgate are just about to scrape past Colombia on penalties. Remember that night? And he's gone and say we couldn't even get past Croatia and bottled it against Holland in the new tournament. But I don't see us winning the tournament with him in charge. Anyone hope that we have a crap Euros so we can have a better manager for the World Cup? Do you know what it is about England, though? England, I like, and you lot are probably the same, but if England go out, I forget about it the next day. I'm like, oh wait, you get on, because it's not a passion. You get up for the tournament and you go out drinking and you get in the mood, and it's summer and everyone's having a good time. Even the lasses come along and get on the bandwagon. You see it, don't you? Not all lasses, I must stress. But you see it, don't you? And you get in the mood for it, but you get put out and it's like, oh wait. But if that's Newcastle, it's totally different, because you've got the passion for the tune, where the win, lose, or draw, and what have you. So it's a totally different thing for me. If Newcastle get beat, it upsets us. If England get beat, I'm like, oh wait, we're root. There's always 2-year time. I say 2-year time because the World Cup's in Qatar, wasn't it? In 18-month time, you know. Mad that, innit? If we finish second, it'll be better for us, says Jody. Not generally going to win the Euros with Southgate in charge. And if we come up against France early in the tournament, by the way, with how the structure, we could come up against France, yeah. Now they've got Benzema, brought him back from the cold after so many years. That's not a bad strike force, is it? Benzema and Mbappe. I wish... But yeah, I would say France are the favourites for me. The worry is players like Maguire and Henderson can't be fully fit. So there's players on standby. You're right, there is still a lot of players on standby. Rashford needs a rest. Mason Holgate, would you really? That's just because he's got the same name as you, Mason. I know your game. James Ward-Prowse has been left out because he plays for a mid-table side. Unfortunately, he's been superb this season. I hope that's not the real reason, but I told you we'll say you'll win it. And I did say we'll stop up late. Really, you think you're going to win the U? Not for me. Not the Euros. I almost cried. Samely would rather the Toon win a trophy than England. I would rather win the League Cup than seeing England win the World Cup. For me, that's just me. Don't lie, we're all devastated when we lost to Croatia. But you weren't devastated for like days on end thinking about it. It's like 24 hours and like, fuck it. That's how I am with England. Some people might be different. Might be different in the northeast. I don't know. Gaza, Scotland. Oh, that was my first tournament. Euro 96. What a goal that was. Hopefully we can see a goal as good as that in the Euros as well. Do you reckon it'll be 5 at the back? Yes, I do, Reed. It's going to be great, the Scotland game. That's the one I'm looking forward to the most. Us versus Scotland. The old rivalry obviously goes on past hundreds of years into the clashes and the war that we had with each other. It's going to be great, man. It's going to be great banter, and hopefully there's no dickheads about. That spoils it for all of us. But that is it. That is your wrap for England. Like I say, we are meeting up with all the lads. We've got tons and tons of videos lined up for you. So if you can smash that like button for England. Not often we do England videos because I've done a couple over on NFTV Extra if you want to have a look at that. And Brandon's done one about the Dutch. And we've got a few vlogs over on there as well. But you can smash that like button. Thank you very much. Good night, everyone. Watch what it's a day.